Hi, it's Cindy Lee. How many of you are this Friday night going to build a fire and have a little s'more party in the backyard? Well, it's a perfect time of year as we hit fall, but I'm going to tell you how you can have s'mores, 0 calories that won't attach to your hip. This way. That's what I have on my lips today. So if you want some s'mores tonight, but you don't want any calories, check out the s'more color from our new Delescent line. But that's not the reason I'm here today. As I talked about in my reference line was color. How many of you are afraid sometimes of color? Pick me. That would have been me 3 years ago, before or when I just started with LimeLife. If you would have told me that I would take a color like this and use it on my cheeks, I would have said, absolutely not. I will look like a clown. Any of you afraid of that? Well, I'm going to show you today how you can use color, not be afraid of it, and still get a very natural, beautiful glow. Want to see that? Okay. Well, you know how high pigmented our colors are. So I'm going to take this fan brush, and I'm just going to tap it in that color. See how much color is already on my brush? And ours are so high pigmented that I always try to tap off a little bit to get it loose because I don't need quite that much. Now, then I could go like this and maybe have a little bit of a clownish look. I'm going to add a little bit over here and I'll blend them all in later because I want to show you how if you get too much, if you think it's too dark, too orange in color, it's about blending. It's about softening. And you can do that just simply by working with your color. You don't have to be afraid of it. Makeup is not a permanent thing. If you don't like the look, you can just take it off and start all over. Or I'll give you some other quick tips for doing that. So with your blush, I usually try to go 2 fingers under my eyes, and then that's where I'm going to apply my blush. Kind of think about that natural, if somebody says something and embarrasses you a little bit, where you're going to turn a little bit red or pink on your face. See how that color is just really blending in? Same thing over here. It was 1 tap, if you notice, of my blush. How many times have you bought a blush and you've put your brush in there and you've tried to put it on your cheeks and you can never get the same color? Well, that is never going to happen to you with the LimeLife products. I'm going to grab my magnifier and look really quick so I can see if I have it a little bit even. But see how I've been able to soften that up again, where a bright color is going to give me this beautiful fall look, a new color for fall that I didn't have before. Now, what I like to do after I get my blush on is I'm going to take this pointed and I'm going to stay with the Danessa collection. I'm going to use the number 2 color bronzer. Remember, I always tap. So why would I use a bronzer? Well, I use a bronzer to help define the cheek. See how this has a little more depth look to it? Maybe it looks just a little bit thinner when you put that on there. Bring it down underneath my cheek. It's the same thing I'm going to do on the other side, tapping it off, bringing this forward and around under my cheek. So you can see a little bit of that shadowing that helps have a little look. Now, a lot of people like to do this inverted 3. No rules. Remember that with makeup. Sometimes I'll do a T across my forehead with a little bit of the bronzer that I have on my brush. But see how this continues to soften, gives my face more depth, gives my face a little bit more color. Now, if I had too much on there, how would I soften that up? Let me just add a little bit more. Okay, so I've got a little bit more than I want. Another way to take some of that down is I just had a little bit of foundation left on my buffer brush. And that would be another way to start all over. And then, of course, I'm going to go back to blending. So when you're working with your makeup, if you get too much of the color that you're looking for, that you love the shade, but you think it's a little bit too dark, here's just some tips for changing and correcting that look that you didn't want to have. Now, would that color depth be right for some people? Absolutely, because there aren't any rules. It's really about what color you want. But I like a little softer look, a little more natural look, even if I'm going out on a Friday night, even if I'm going to have a backyard campfire. And the other tip I wanted to tell you, because sometimes people say, oh, those long-wearing lipsticks, they can be really drying on the lips. I really feel our new formula doesn't do that, but I'm going to show you if you feel it does. I'm just going to take a little bit of Not Telling. It's a very nude color. And I'm just going to go over top. It's a little creamier in texture. I didn't change the look. It's not as shiny as a gloss, but it does give me that creamy feel. So mix and match, buff out your colors, start all over if you don't like the look, but remember, makeup is meant to enhance the look that you want. Take your beauty and just maybe bring out those areas that you feel will help flatter your look that you're looking for. And if you don't want any makeup, you know we have the great skincare. Now remember, have an amazing weekend, and if life gives you limes, be the light. Have an amazing day.